Yeah, this is the boy, comedian Edwin Douglas, and you are on You Heard Me First Radio Talk Show. And with that being said, that's right, we are now on iHeartRadio. And when we come right back, we've got something very special guest on the show. Don't you go away too far. You heard me?
Like the Curry, Steph and Aisha Street. But we more like Belly, Tommy and Keisha Street. Gave you TLC, you wanna creep and street. Poured out my whole heart to a piece of street. Man, I thought you would've learned a lesson about liking pictures, not returning texts. I guess it's fine, man, I get the message. You still stutter after certain questions. You keep in contact with certain exes. Do you though? Trust me, it's cool though. Said that you was working, but you out here chasing who knows. But two lies, chillin' poolside. Two lies, I could've did what you did to me to you a few times. But if I did decide to slide, find somebody, let him hit. You would've been pissed, but that's not my MO. I'm not that type of. And karma for you is gonna be who you end up with. Don't make me sick. Baby, I adore. I gave you everything, was mine is yours. I want you to live your life, of course, but I hope you get what you're dying for. Be careful with me. Do you know what you're doing? Whose feelings that you hurting and bruising? You gon' gain the whole world, but is it worth the girl that you losing? Be careful with me. Yeah, it's not a threat, it's a warning. Be careful with me. Yeah, my heart is like a package with a fragile it go on and be careful.
All right, we're back. And before I bring in our guest for today, I want to say congratulations to all the high school kids in America, class of 2018. Also, a very, very, very special announcement to my niece, Kaylee Norman, Waxahachie, Texas, from Waxahachie High School. Your Uncle Doug loves you, and now you have that paper, your diploma. That's the key to your life. You're heading to college, to Houston Tillotson, from there to law school. Your Uncle Doug loves you. Congratulations, Kaylee Norman. All right. Now, our guest, all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, the ATL, called himself One Bad Artist. And I'm not going to give up too many details. That's why he's on the show. Please welcome the one and only Mr. Ronny Myles. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, brother Edwin. How are you?
I'm good. Before we get into details, I have to say that you have a wonderful family. As you heard, myself and two other comedians, the Comedy Vineyard, we go into your family church home and do an annual gospel comedy show. And your mother and father and the family speak very highly of you. And I just want to say you have a great family. Okay?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Let's do this. Tell us, what was your hobby, or what are some of your hobbies when you was in high school?
Well, I played a little bit of basketball when I was in high school in Louisiana. Music or singing has been a passion, kind of a pastime or a part-time passion. And also, of course, my artwork, which I've been doing since I can remember. My mother tells me it's usually around the age of 3 that she recalls that I kind of got drawing and kind of stuck with that over the years.
Okay. So, did you play any sports or any other activity when you were growing up?
Just a little bit of basketball and, of course, football with my cousins, like every other little boy does. So, but other than that, that's about it. Just football and basketball.
So when you say basketball, what position your favorite position? Was you a center? Was you a guard? Or you played all positions?
No, primarily power forward and center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm 6'7", so I don't know if I was registered as a guard in high school back in my time.
Okay. Because all the men that I've seen in your family so far, y'all tall, man. Everybody's 6 feet and taller. So I thought maybe that's a beautiful thing you guys got going there. So
thank you.
So you said football. A lot of young men when they play sports. I don't know about you. A lot of us was a dreamer, and not everybody can go to the pros. Okay, so
sure.
When did you start picking up the creativity? How old were you when you picked up a pen, pencil, paintbrush to start painting?
I started drawing early. I would say around starting around the age of 3. But again, I think it really started making sense to my mother and my dad that this was something that was that was special in me. And I would say maybe around the age of 8 or 9, I began to stick with the drawing, and they started looking like what they were supposed to look like, and I just kind of stayed on that path as far as a career choice. So I would say maybe about 8 or 9.
Okay. Now I've seen a lot of your work. For those who are just not tuning in, this is not just a normal guy that just likes to draw or paint. This brother here is bad. You can go to www.onebadartist.com right now while you listening to the interview, and when you see his work, then you will be able to relate to some of the things that we'll be talking about, kind of make you feel like you know him already once you see his work. Tell us, Ronny, some of the most popular work that you have drawn that's out there on the site that really inspired you the most.
One of my notables is a portrait that I had done of President Barack Obama and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I pretty much, God gave me that image back in 2007, the year before President Obama was elected. And that particular piece had kind of drawn me towards heading to Chicago during the actual election. And then also, again, I took a trip from Georgia up to D.C. for President Obama's inauguration. It was also cameoed inside of the President Obama's his Ebony magazine interview. He was on the front of Ebony the year after, or I believe it was in January, the year after he won the election as Person of the Year. So that piece is one that's fairly notable that some people may have seen already.
So what was your experience like being around the days of President Barack Obama and meeting people during the history, looking at the first African American to become and became the first black president of the United States? Tell us your experience. What did it feel like to you?
It was surreal. It was awesome. I've never seen, of course, anything like it. Being in Chicago, just the attitude and the demeanor of people in general. It was not all African American people. He certainly was and is an all people's president. And it was amazing to see in Chicago during election night, not just from a heritage standpoint, but just to see that many people join together, for a common cause, which at the time was change. The world was tired of the status quo and the traditional politics as usual. And it was amazing. And then it got even more amazing when I traveled to Washington, D.C. to actually partake in the inauguration. It was shoulder to shoulder, a sea of people, and I'm 6'7", so of course, like I said, I stand a little bit taller than most. And as far as I could look to my left, to my right, to the front, to the back, literally shoulder to shoulder, we weren't even able to move. And it was amazing, absolutely awesome to see that migration and that amount of people in one place at one time for one cause. So it was breathtaking. It really was.
Wow. So when people come to you in person and they see you as a person in front of them and they see your work, what is some of the encouragement or acknowledgement that you have heard people tell you all the time, that you hear people tell you all the time?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that question. I was thinking about this response, and people oftentimes, when they hear, like for instance, your listeners that are listening now, when they say, "Okay, well, yes, you're an artist," we hear that, and I tell people that, and I try to remain as humble as possible because first of all, I know it's not me; it's actually God that gave me the talent to produce what I do. However, when people say, "Oh, well, you're an artist," that's great, and it's kind of dismissive because there are a lot of artists out there, and I'm not claiming to be great or the best or anything. However, when I actually show them something outside of me just saying, "Well, yeah, I draw, I'm an artist," when they actually see it, then the typical response is, "Oh, like you're a for real artist," as though I can't say that on the front end because it would be full of self and braggadocious. I can't say, "Well, yeah, I'm really good." However, their response is, I guess, by me just acknowledging that I am an artist, and then when they see the work, it's kind of like, "Wow, I didn't know you were like that kind of artist."
And that's why I asked you what I asked you because I think maybe 3 years ago, we first talked on the phone. Your mom called you, and before you answered the phone, she was showing me some of your work, and I fell in love with your family because of the presence of God within their church before we did the show. And I know it's in your mom, I know it's in your brother, your father, your whole family, I know it's in you when she showed me your work, and I was like, wow, I thought I got to, someday, get a hold of him, and now here today, 3 years later, I didn't know what it was going to be, I didn't know what, but talking to your mother and your father, the anointing, the Holy Spirit, always in our presence, so that's why I asked you what other people think when they finally see your work. It makes them say, "Wow," So you also do music, right?
Yes.
So are you a singer or you play instruments?
No, I sing. I sang in my dad's church and a small group that we had formed, myself and 3 other guys had formed right before I was called out of the league, Dallas. But it's kind of been a pastime. I mean, I love things that are beautiful, whether it's music, harmony, people, images, or what have you. So, that's it's another gift that God gave me. And so I guess I've done a couple of CDs there with the church and the church choir and everything. So, but yeah, that's certainly something else that God has kind of put in my possession, and I really appreciate it.
Wow. For those just not tuning in on Uheardme First Radio Talk Show, you are listening to a gifted, professional, anointing artist, and much more. His name is Ronny Myles, and I want you guys to make sure you log on onebadartist.com and look at his work. Not just look at, support him, and we'll get into that later on, how you can get more involved and stay in contact with him before we let him go. Okay, so Ronnie, tell us what what are you looking for? What do you want God to do for you? What is your dream that you want that door to open? Tell us a little bit about the hope and the dream for those who may be following the footsteps. Maybe they can learn from what you're going to share with us.
Sure, absolutely. First thing I'd like to say pertaining to that is to anybody that's listening, support the arts, support people that are doing things with their hands. One of the things that I would mention regarding a young artist or an upcoming artist that I've experienced through down through the years is that, I posted something on Facebook not long ago that I saw another artist had posted on Instagram, which was, people love your work until they have to pay for it. And that statement is true whether it be artwork or whatever your gift is. And especially in the African American community, I would really encourage you to support people that are trying to do something with their God-given gift. We currently live in a world that everything fake is what the people want, or what that's the agenda that's being pushed, from the political standpoint all the way down to the business owner. People would prefer to go and buy something that's cheap and at the dollar store versus spending $2 on something that somebody took the time to create with love and through their gift that God gave them. So even like yourself with your comedy, that needs to be supported. It needs to be supported. And it's disheartening in a world that's clamoring towards the false and the unreal and the untrue things, for somebody that truly has a gift. Yes, it's beautiful to look at, but looking does not pay the bills. I'll say that, just as you may know. Like I said, they love your work until they have to pay for it. And the unfortunate thing in the African American community is that we will go right out the door to another business that has no interest in investing back, nor do you have a personal relationship with, and we'll go spend that money, whether it's on clothes, shoes, cars, and so forth. So, and if you think about it, the very gifts that I'm speaking of now that we all possess, everybody has a gift and a talent from God. So, but all of these gifts, those things were given to us by God in order to share with other people, but they're just underappreciated, they're grossly underappreciated. And so I would encourage anybody that's trying to come up in those, and use your natural gift is, first of all, you have to stay completely connected to God, because it's going to feel like this world likes your stuff, but they don't love your stuff. And we just have to remember and keep that in mind, so that you don't quit, that you don't give up, and let God exalt your talent in whatever way He sees fit. So that's certainly something that I wanted to share with people. Yeah, support.
I appreciate that. Every guest that I bring on this show, a lot of people just not really have an opportunity to tune in and listen to different episodes. For those who don't know, You Heard Me First radio talk show is a platform bringing in real people that telling real stories to entertain your soul and spirit. And as Mr. Ronny Myles said, everyone has a gift and a talent that's given by God. So what I want to ask you at this moment, during your dreams, during you seeking, driving yourself to your goals, tell us what are some of the trials and tribulations that you have gone through where you could almost given up, or you felt like it was taking too long. Just tell us just a little brief or some of the things you may have experienced while you were chasing your dream.
Sure. Again, frustration is part of it. Feeling underappreciated or unappreciated is part of it. 2 plus 2 does not always equal 4, especially in the house of faith. All right. So I'll say that it's been a tough lesson for myself, is because people will look at me and look at my artwork and say, wow. And I did post this on Facebook as well. Wow, man, your work is just, it's amazing. It's lovely. And all of those are good. But if those things are not being supported, it's all for naught. I shared this information with somebody before, and I'll give you a tidbit. To say, for instance, like the Drake painting that I posted online on Facebook. And I did tell people I was going to give them this information. So Drake's, I finally was able to get in touch with Drake's dad, and he reposted the actual Drake painting on his page. Now, mind you, he got over close to 34,000 likes just from reposting my picture on his page. Some of his own videos and pictures only muster up maybe 5,000, 6,000. This picture that I painted got over 34,000 likes on his page. I said all of that to say that it's not always what it looks like. That's another thing that you have to be aware of. People would think that I'm rich, I'm famous, and it just doesn't work that way for that very reason, because of the lack of support. You know, it's a lot of I love it, but there's no action put behind the love. So it's all verbal love. And as you know, you can't pay bills with verbal love. You know, I can't call my electric company and say, hey, I got 34,000 likes on Instagram. You know, so that just doesn't happen, and it's really unfortunate. So just be mindful. Just because you see somebody out there in the public like that doesn't necessarily equate to this pie in the sky life like they've got it going on. Now, I'll share this personal tidbit of information as well. Out of 34,000 likes, guess how many requests that I got either for artwork or what have you?
I can imagine. I go through the same thing. I can imagine.
Zero. So again, people that may be following my work would say, man, Drake and them ought to buy that painting, or look how many people actually like that painting. So for somebody that's coming up, what I would suggest is that when you get things like that, you have to keep yourself encouraged. Don't allow that to discourage you, because for every like, that's 34,000 likes, that can put you on a mental high. Like, wow, it's a lot of people that are loving my talent and my gift. But that's also, if you look at it on the flip side, that's 34,000 disappointments. If you allow your mind to go on that side of it, because nothing may have come from that you can see, or that's tangible.
Yeah.
You know, so you just have to, you really have to stay connected to God, because there will be a lot of disappointments if you focus on the wrong thing.
And what I want to add to that, and you're right, Ronnie, you have to stay connected with God in order to get the connection from the connector. Okay, and I believe in that. It's working for me, and God is my partner. I wake up every morning, and you know, some people say they talk to God. You know, they go in their prayer closet. Whatever's working for you, just make sure God is your partner. And any business today, I don't care if it's a barber shop, hair salon, whatever business you're in, with your author or athlete, you have to be self-promotion. Do not rely on anyone to do all the work for you every single time. Because like Ronnie said, you have to stay connected with God, because with the social media, it works, but you have to be creative, very creative every day. Do not rely on your friends and your family going to support you every day. They, like Ronnie said, they click on likes, but how many people really purchase or support what you're putting out there? Okay, so you can't give up, and I'm glad you said that. A lot of people need to hear that. The key words: stay close to God, stay connected to God, because God is testing you. Because only God can make everything happen. Okay, only God. Wow.
Absolutely. You know what, Edwin, to that point, let me share this also, man. I think a lot of people are familiar with the story of the fishermen, and when Jesus was out on the water and they fished all night and they didn't catch anything. Mm-hmm. And they began to get frustrated, and they're like, Lord, okay, what's really going on? And I liken myself to that story, because it's like, you know, you're doing what your profession is. They were professional fishermen. That's what they did. So it's mind blowing them to be out there doing what they're good at, what they're professional in, to be fishing all night and to catch nothing. And for anybody that comes to know God, you're going to have to switch it over and do it all His way. That story is very powerful, because even though they were good at it, just like I'm good at my artwork, and like you just mentioned, unless God touches it, it won't work and it won't prosper. And that's the most frustrating lesson that I had to learn, again, because my gift is excellent, you know, and I see that and others see that. But unless God puts His hand on it, or you're obedient and do exactly what He says, then it won't prosper. Now, the story of the fishermen in the boat, of course, quite naturally, they fished all night. They didn't catch anything on one side of the boat. And at Jesus' word, He said, cast your net on the other side. Now, our logic would say, okay, I hear you, Jesus. However, there's not a wall under the boat. We're on water. So what difference would it make for me to have my net on this side of the boat or 10 feet across on the other side of the boat? That doesn't make any sense to me. But it said that because they were obedient and did what He said reluctantly and cast their net on the other side, they had so much fish come into their net immediately that they had to tear away or cut the nets because it was starting to sink the boat. So I would say keep your eyes on God and what He says to do specifically, because if your gift will fool you, like I said, I have an excellent gift. However, it still will not move unless God moves it. So my gift is nothing, but what He tells me to do is everything. That makes the difference.
That's it. I have this game that I play with my guests. And if you've been listening to some of the shows, you probably know where I'm going with this. The name of the game is called Don't Think About It, Just Say It. Don't think about it, just say it. Just 3 questions. And the first thing comes to your mind, just say it. Okay, number 1, hamburger or hot dog?
Hot dog.
Okay. Number 2, Dallas or Atlanta?
Dallas.
Okay, and the very last one, if someone came to you and said they'll pay you $10,000 on one of these jobs, which one would you take? Being a clown in the Soul Circus or a stripper?
Oh, I'd have to be the clown. I'd be the best clown they ever saw, man. I was set up.
That's cool. Before I let you go about it, tell everyone where you can be reached. Sure. Also, what you got coming up. Promote yourself. This is a moment to tell everybody what you got going on.
Okay. All right. Well, the website, as Brother Edwin said, is www.1, using the number 1, badartist.com. BADARTIST.com. OneBadArtist.com. I'm currently revamping the website over the next week or 2. So you should see a whole different look, a whole different feel. That's one way to reach me. My IG or Instagram is that same thing. It's at One Bad Artist, using the number 1. And you can reach me there as well. And also, I'm working on, if you've been on my Instagram page, you'll see a couple of different prints here recently. I've got one called The Soul of Paris. Also have, which of course a lot of women love and have gone to Paris, so they can relate to it. And then there's another series that I'm starting. It's called I'm Healed, and that's healed with 2 E's. And it's basically a pun on being healed as well, physically, as well as a woman being able to dress up and doll herself up in high heels. So it's the couture women, and also women of style and purpose. So those are different things that I'm currently working on. I've got a couple of other things in the pocket that should be manifesting within the next 30 days for sure.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to a beautiful man of God, come from a family that did very well, excellent with all the children. He's an anointed, gifted artist. As you heard him giving out his website, please go and support him. Once again, Mr. Ronny Myles. Ronny, anytime you want to promote, you know how to get in contact with me. You're more than welcome to post things on social media. Anything you got coming up, we family. I mean, I adopted myself into your mom and dad family. So
hey, we'll take it likewise, brother. And I really appreciate you, and you keep doing what you're doing as well, man. Like I said, I think you can relate to some of the, some of the experiences and trying to, use your gift and put your gift out there for the public, and so I'll do what I can for you on my end, and I'll certainly will exchange information, and we'll get to pushing you in the Atlanta market as well. So we'll make things happen.
Well, you have a blessed one, and we'll talk real soon, and enjoy your day. All right.
You too. All right, then. Thank you, brother. All right, God bless.
All right. When we come back, we're going to come back. I got something for y'all, Relationship Monday. Yeah. Don't y'all go away. Don't go too far, because you heard me first radio talk show right here on iHeartRadio. All right.
You'll always be
yo, it's your girl Nikki, and you are listening to You Heard Me First radio talk show with your host, comedian Edwin Douglas. And don't forget about my main man, Uncle Ben, coming at you every Monday on Uheardme. Don't you know? Tune in, y'all.
We're back. Myself, Uncle Ben, we're going to do Relationship Monday. By the way, how you doing, Uncle Ben? Uncle Ben. Yeah. Uncle Ben. What we got here today, boy? Well, we're going to do Relationship Monday. And, Ronny has blessed me with something that came across my mind about the professional fisherman. Of course, you got to keep God involved in everything that you do, because that's the only way it's going to work. That's the only way you're going to get to where you're going, only by God, with God. So today I'm going to read something that will probably help all of us. Relationship Monday. Uncle Ben. Go ahead, boy, I get it. Okay. Relationship Monday. Having a relationship with God is a beautiful relationship. Some people who study the Bible and sharing the Bible are spending time training and practicing the Word of God. To get to know God, you have to pray, communicate, praise Him, love Him, acknowledge Him, and much more. God wants us to have a relationship with Him. Keep in mind, when you was going through many of your trials and tribulations, I'm sure you communicated with Him, praise Him, and dance for Him, and do what you do best to acknowledge God. So keep in mind, we're all going to die one day. See, the word death is not a bad thing, and the word death is not a bad word. When I say death, D-E-A-T-H, death. You have to live to die. You have to die to live. You don't have to worry about dying anymore when you do die. The bad news is when you don't know where you are going. That's the bad news. Okay, stay with me. The hypothetical thinking. Jesus died on the cross, and before He died, He was sharing the Word of God. On the first day, He was asleep. On the second day, He was resting. And on the third day, He rose up. Okay, now when you die, don't think you're going to wake up on the first day. But whenever God wakes you up, keep in mind, let's say He gives you a pop quiz. Hypothetical thinking, okay? Let's say God asks you, the day that He wakes you up, give me one reason why I should open the gate of heaven and allow you to come in. Don't say nothing, but think about it. God may say or ask you, did you tell the people I saved you? Did you tell the people about when I brought you out of your situation, when you was homeless, jobless, and in prison? All I'm asking you, did you tell the people your story? This is Relationship Monday right here with your boy, comedian-edwin-douglas. And I'll be doing this from time to time. And before I actually got my show, I used to write articles on Facebook and post it, through email to encourage people. And so every now and then we'll be doing Relationship Monday. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Uncle Ben, guess what? We are doing pretty good. This is I think our 12th episode right here. You and I together. Yeah, Uncle Ben. Yeah, we doing good. Uncle Ben. Well, what I want to say to you is that God is good. And like Ronny Myles was saying, you gotta stay with God, and only God can make things happen and elevate things to a whole nother level. And so for everybody who's been tuning in on iHeartRadio, Spreaker.com, and YouTube, you can catch all the episodes on demand anytime, 24/7. We will continue to do what we do. And I want everybody to keep in mind that I love doing what I'm doing. Looking forward to do even more. And you guys can also never see my work. Log on comedian-edwin-douglas, and you'll see all kinds of videos of me doing stand-up. If you want to book me, you can contact me on Uheardme First Radio Talk Show, or you can contact my email, Uheardme1st@yahoo.com, and we can go from there. But in the meantime, what you got going on, comedian? Nothing. I'm just working real hard. So, what you doing these days? Like I said, I ain't been doing nothing. Since you got me on probation, I feel like I need to try to keep my job right here on the radio show. You know what? I think that's a good idea. You're doing the right thing, man. What's so funny? Because I told you that I want to break you out of habit, and all you do is lie, man. You're going to have to come to reality. But I'm not going to be so hard on you. But I got some good news. What's that? Uncle Ben. What is that? What's the good news? Well, since we started March the 19th up to May 15th, we're doing pretty good. I'm going to name a few cities, and this is really calculation on who's been following us and where it's coming from, like Atlanta, Georgia, Mesquite, Texas, people from Longview, Tyler, Gladewater, Texas, Columbia, South Carolina, Norcross, Georgia, Newport News, Virginia, New York, Pontiac, Michigan, Nashville, Tennessee, Little Rock, Arkansas, Tampa, Florida, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Of course, I said ATL, Cedar Hill, Texas, Dallas, Houston, Amarillo, DeSoto, Fort Worth, Hawkins, Texas, Waco, Texas, and guess what? We have two countries, people from two different countries, one from Canada and other from Ireland. That's Ireland. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in and supporting Uheardme First Radio Talk Show. Yeah. And before we go, I want everybody to keep in mind, continue to support the Kevin and Nikki show. They out in Philadelphia. That's my neighbor, next door neighbor. They come on iHeartRadio every Wednesday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget about us. You can always catch us on demand every day, anytime. iHeartRadio, that's iHeart.com, and IHEART.com. Spreaker, SPREAKER.com, and also YouTube.com. But new episode right here on iHeartRadio. That's 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's new episode every Monday. So I want everybody to keep in mind, trust God. This is not just a gospel show. We don't call it that. This is a reality talk show. We can talk about anything, music. This is how we roll. You heard me? Until next time, I want y'all to enjoy the rest of the show because I got something for you. I am comedian-edwin-douglas, and Uncle Ben. Get it, boy. Peace, and may God bless you.
Oh, 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 oh. Even though she pays me no attention, all I wanna show is my affection. Lose myself inside her ebony, but she ain't even checking me. Oh, yeah, cool, baby. Do a little something, something. A little something, something. Oh, baby. So we can kick a little something, something. Honey, do sugar, chocolate, something. Yeah. Sister with a certain something, something. Flavor with a cocoa kind of flow. Oh, baby, baby, act like you know. Oh, yeah. Oh, if it's cool, baby, I wanna ride. Oh, R-O-C-K with you, baby. Oh, yeah. Only if it's true. Oh, baby. Do a little something, do a little something, something, yeah. Oh, baby. Kick a little something, something, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, baby. Nah, oh, yeah, baby. I swear to God I love you, baby. When I saw you, baby, you blew my mind. So I wanna rock with you, baby. Oh, yeah. Only if it's cool. We can do a little something, do a little something, something, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, baby, a little something, something. Oh, if it's cool, baby, do a little something, something. So we can kick a little. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. By the way you move your body, Lord, Lord.
I used to think about immature things. You know, like, do you love me? Do you want me? Are you gonna call me like you said you would? Is this really your real phone number? But you know, I'm a man now, baby, a grown man. And I came a long way. And experience taught me one thing. Taught me to hold on to my love. Sometimes I just can't help thinking living without you, baby. See, sometimes I just can't live crying about you, baby. I'm not worried about a dog. just the little things you do that show how much you really care. Like when I'm all alone with you, you know exactly what to do. You put that fire inside of me and make it more than just a dream. And I like it. You send chills up my spine every time I take one look at you. And I like it. And I like it. Girl, let me run this by you just one more time. You're on my mind every day and every night. My every thought is you. The things you do seem so satisfying to me. I must confess it, girl. And I like it. You send chills up my spine every time I take one look at you. And I like it. Girl, you're blowing my mind with the things you say to me. I like the way you comb your hair, and I like those stylish clothes you wear. It's just the little things you do that show how much you really care. Like when I'm all alone with you, you know exactly what to do. You put that fire inside of me and make it more than just a dream. I like it. I like it. I really, really like it. I'm holding, adoring, so come at me, enjoy. I like it. I like it. I really, really like it. I'm holding, adoring, so come at me, enjoy. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm for adoring, so come at me, enjoy. And I like it. I'm just trying to satisfy you, girl. You know I'm really like it. Say, baby, I like every little thing you do. The way you
Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it right. Come on, honey. Let's do it. Let's do it. It takes all night. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it right. Come on, baby. Let's do it. Let's do it. It takes all night. Come on, honey. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it tonight. We can do it. We can do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Do it right. Baby, we can do it. Take the time. Do it right. We can do it, baby. Do it tonight. Baby, we can do it. Take the time. Do it right. We can do it.
You have been listening to You Heard Me First Radio Talk Show with your host, comedian Edwin Douglas, and Uncle Ben. Yes.